what did you think of the thing in general?
They're going to beat us every time.
Hey everybody, Dale Brisby, world's greatest bull rider, also the most humble. So check me out for both of those things. Yeah, so I get to drive the Defender quite a bit. They brought me on because I'm the world's best cowboy. So I use this thing on the ranch all the time. Not just like the moderate ranching, but heavy ranching. So the HD11, if you're wondering what's new on it, it's pretty much everything that you love about the HD10, they improved for the 11. Whether you're talking about how bright the lights are, how hard the AC blows, skin plate, it's got reverse lights. So I'm going to kind of walk you through everything I've observed. I got to go to Connecticut last week and do an ambassador summit. We drove these things around for 3 days. Also, probably noticed just that super cinematic commercial that I was featured in. So I've gotten to drive the new Defender quite a bit. Just starting from the front, even the winch. There's little things about how the winch draws in that they've improved. The front bumper. Kind of something you'd see rather on a pickup rather than a side-by-side. So heavy-duty front and rear bumper. Like I said, these headlights are brighter than LEDs.
Finally the LEDs, right? For the longest time, I remember wanting LEDs, and they finally and they're very bright.
Yes, sir. And then they also put, starting in the front, if you look, the arms are way beefier. They're bigger, they're stouter. I didn't even realize they needed to be bigger, but these arms are, there's just a lot more to them. You've also got, I know limited, which we can talk about in a minute, but 12 inches of suspension with still 15 inches of clearance underneath. So they made a lot of changes to the front end and added some power to it. So with that, they also added bigger and stouter brakes, because with all that power comes the braking. And anybody that's driven a Defender, you probably remember just a little bit of noise when you brake, and that's all been eliminated. So there's some spots in here where they would use, where plastic couplings were replaced with rubberized couplings. And so the noise with this thing has been cut down dramatically. I don't know what percentage, but for anybody that works around the animals, you know, the less noise, the better. And same thing with wildlife whenever you're hunting. So, you know, it's still got that purr to it, but it's just not got the squeak, which I like. And again, the skid plate, you never know what you're going to run over at the ranch. And the machine itself can make it through anything, pretty much. It's just what is going to get caught underneath on the other side that you have to stop and take out. So the skid plate really helped give me a little more confidence whenever I'm going through something. So that's just the front of the rig. Also, the windshield. That's not new, I just love it, so I got to know it. Because it definitely helps in Texas, especially in August. I don't know that I can go without the AC again. And a lot of you dealers probably know how many people now are leaning towards cabs rather than an open cab. And I know why. I didn't realize that the old Defender AC even needed an upgrade, and I got in this. And part of the reason for the upgrade on the AC is the old Defenders, they kind of came in to the chassis and added an AC. Well, with this Defender, they built the chassis knowing they were going to add an air conditioning system in it. So that's why there's the big bump in power whenever you turn the knob, which is another addition. They didn't do the little electrical button with the knob that you kind of got to read the manual to figure out. We just got the normal high to low, hot to cold, face or feet. There's 3 switches in here that you guys can use easily. So being the world's greatest bull rider, sometimes I do need people to dumb it down for me. They did that. They also switched out the entire. They put a digital screen in here for guys like myself that need everything spelled out. Whatever mode I want to be in, you can just pick it right there. You can also add in your Bluetooth audio on that screen, again, it was separate before because all those, the AC, JL audio, that was new to the Defender. Well, this time it's not new, so that's fine. You can manage everything from that screen. The tilt steering was, it's not necessarily new, but just they perfected it. So the tilt steering can go all the way to the dash almost. For whatever reason, if you want to climb in and out, if you're moving stuff into the front seat, we can name 1,000 reasons why that's handy. I also get tired of having to turn my iPhone light on at night in the cab, so they added the dome light. That was a special feature that I asked for, so you're welcome. With lights, I'm sure all of you, if you've driven a Defender on stage, you probably find yourself tapping the brakes and give yourself light behind the gate. So they added reverse lights. Very simple, but it's also just one of those additions that makes the whole rig more convenient. You still got the dumb bed, you still got they added D-rings in the bed, so all your link add-ons, like I'm sure you guys are dealers, you guys are probably more familiar with all the accessories that Link offers. So they've all got a spot for the bed now. And then your D-rings for just ratcheting stuff in. I like to, I don't ratchet stuff in, I like it to fly out, that way I can go back and pick it up later. Just get more sound than the Defender. But again, everything underneath, back here, the arms, heavier duty, the hitch, depending on which package you go with, or you get the bigger tires. This right here is my exact rig. Murdered out Lone Star with an AC, so I'm hoping that this showroom model is what was delivered to me. Anybody got any sort of questions? I covered a lot. We're gonna have a quiz later, so.
We'll touch on just a couple little things that I think are pretty important on the XMR model. They beef up the driveline that necessarily some of the other models don't have. Like in the rear differences, there's 4 pinions versus 2 on all the other models. And the gears, instead they're all polished gear, and what it does is just give you a tighter mesh. And the way they explain it, so you can get to peak a lot more often without getting any play. It just lasts longer when you're obviously treating it a lot more harsh, that XMR model. Just a couple little things that are on the XMR that are on the other models, and maybe will make their way there in the next few years.
I don't really know what they did under the hood, but that's my drive with Can-am because I can't work on these. I'm too busy being the world's greatest bull rider, so I want something to fire up every time. So whatever these engineers are doing under the hood, I just hope they keep doing it because I can't even change the oils. I don't want to.
But now you're doing this on both that skin plate, but access makes sure it's that much easier.
But yeah, the skin plate, that is super interesting to me. I take this because it's on my go. Anybody got any questions? Step over to the limited if you got on with well, this is